Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our CFL DFS picks for Week 6 of the 2017 season. Hard to believe how fast time is flying. In fact, next week we'll be here with our first NFL preseason video. Actually, I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to do it for the Hall of Fame game because who knows if it's going to be played at all. And you're not necessarily going to know all you need to know about the situations probably until right before the actual preseason starts the next week. So should be fun. I'm going to break down a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver, two wide receivers that I really like this week. Let's get things started off with Bo Levi Mitchell, 10-8. Here's the deal with Bo Levi Mitchell. This has not been an MOP year for him. He has not looked great basically at any point during this season. This was a guy who was just lacing the ball everywhere last year, and it just has not been the same this year. He's making some extremely poor decisions. I don't really know what else to say, but the benefit is that he's taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who are allowing 401 passing yards on average this year. I cannot foresee a circumstance where Bo Levi Mitchell does not have a good game here. I mean, if he doesn't, it basically has to be a situation where he might be hands off until he's like 9,500 because this has been entirely too disappointing. I don't tend to go too heavy on him after the second or third week of the season, but this is just too good to be true. I know the mentality here will be, okay, well, you know, the defense is going to dominate. We saw what they did against Saskatchewan at home. This defense is definitely the top defense in the CFL. I really do believe that. I mean, the Argonauts are playing extremely well on that side of the ball. The Eskimos' passing defense is very good, but Calgary looks really good. So I think a popular mentality will be, it's going to be Messam running the ball and, you know, the defense shutting the rest of the game down. I really don't see it being that way. I really do think Bo Levi Mitchell will be able to come out and dominate here. Let's move on to running backs. Look, things are starting to get priced up even more this week than last week on DraftKings, and it's a better time than ever to pick up our premium packages. $5 a week. It's been pretty solid. It's not going to tell you this is the lineup to play. I'm not a lineup seller. I'm not going to do that. If that's what you were looking for, quite frankly and bluntly, you can go somewhere else. I'm not into that. I think that's about the lowest form of fantasy content out there. And plenty of people do it, so that's just the reinforcement that you need right there. But it does give you advanced, breakdowns of, you know, these guys are going to go up against each other, such and such has a good matchup, really in-depth game breakdowns, strategy, more than just one pick per position. I think it's really helped me do well thus far this year, and I have not heard any disappointment from anyone who subscribed to it. So, running back position, lots of options we could go to here. I think at $5,300, Anthony Coombs has to be played until he gives us a reason not to be. Right now, Ricky Ray isn't necessarily getting the most time in the pocket, and that's allowing Coombs, who is now taking some snaps at running back since none of them are good in the backfield. He's getting a lot of time lining up as like a scat back, halfback, slot back type player, but it's forcing him to get a lot of attention. And he's someone the defense, I think, is fine with letting do this at this point in time, considering I know that they'd rather shut down S.J. Green, Armani Edwards, Jeff Fuller. I think they're fine with the game plan being let Anthony Coombs beat us. And if he's going to continue to catch 8 passes a game and we get 8 free points off rip, plus the yardage and the potential for a touchdown, plus some handoffs here and there, I don't see any reason why he's $5,300 to avoid him. Like I mentioned, pricing is going up around the industry. If you can get a guy like this who only rose $400 after having a tremendous week, granted the pricing was out prior to the start of the game on Monday, but Coombs is someone that I definitely want to have some exposure to this weekend. Moving on to wide receiver, two guys really stand out. Brandon Zysltra, 8,900. How funny is it that Zysltra, who started the year at 4,400, is now the highest priced active player at the wide receiver position this week? I mean, it's a testament to what his role in the offense is. He's very much Naaman Roosevelt-esque in that if this guy could just catch a damn touchdown on one of the weeks where he has 10 receptions for 117 yards, he's a gangbusters play. Like, this guy is magic in a bottle. He's really taken the Darrell Walker role over extremely well. Quite frankly, he's been the best receiver on this team, and it's probably not even close. I think that this is an interesting position here because, as you know, from a game theory perspective, will players gravitate toward Bryant Mitchell and his 4K price tag again this week and spend up at running back and the other receiver and flex positions? You know, or do they go Coombs? I think those two end up being the pivots off of one another. Which one do you go with to fill up your roster with the best possible talent around it? Point being, I think that it could lead to somewhat of a lower ownership position for Zysltra. I could be wrong, but maybe that's the mentality. That could be the prevailing mentality of fantasy players this weekend. Next up, let's go DaVaris Daniels, 7,100. Like, look, I think that he could be the fourth lowest owned receiver on his team. You know that Kamar Jordan, whose price really didn't go up too much, Marquez McDaniel, and potentially even Lamar Durant could be higher priced than DaVaris Daniel, considering his year thus far just has not been very good whatsoever. He has an amazing matchup. We know that this defense is going to be beat through the air by Bo Levi Mitchell. I expect pretty early on in the going for Mitchell to test getting the ball downfield. As long as Daniels is there to pull them in, this could be his first big game of the year. Again, I think he's going to carry a little bit lower of an ownership percentage because of the fact that, you know, everyone else around him is doing better than him. But the talent's still there. It certainly hasn't disappeared. It's just that the opportunities really haven't come his way yet. I think this is going to be a great place to use him at low ownership. I would not be shocked if DaVaris Daniels ends up being the difference maker in a lot of people's lineups. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to researchfantasy.com. Check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again next week.